In 1950, the Soviets captured dozens of Albanian agents, effectively ruining a carefully planned joint MI6 and CIA operation. This was a carefully and secretly planned operation, but it became one of the most catastrophic Cold War intelligence failures, all because of one man, Kim Philby, a British agent who secretly serves as a double agent for the Soviet. But who is Kim Philby, and how did he become one of the deadliest British double agents for the Soviet? Kim Philby was born on January 1st, 1912, in Ambala, British India. His father, St. John Philby, was a brilliant but eccentric British officer, an Arabist, known to dine with princes and defy kings. His mother, Dora, was often bewildered by the strange ideals her husband instilled in their son. The 1930s were years of turmoil. Fascism was rising in Europe, and the Great Depression had shattered faith in Western capitalism. Philby's sympathies drifted toward the left. At Cambridge, he fell in with a secret circle of idealists who believed the Soviet Union represented hope for humanity. Among them were Guy Burgess, Donald Maclean, Anthony Blunt, and John Cairncross, the men who would become infamous as the Cambridge Five. In 1934, while working as a journalist in Vienna, Philby met Litzy Friedman, a passionate Jewish communist fleeing Nazi persecution. Through her, he was introduced to a Soviet contact, an encounter that changed his life forever. They married quickly, partly to help Litzy escape Austria, but by then, the Soviets had seen something far more valuable in him. Philby agreed to work for the NKVD, the Soviet intelligence service. His mission: infiltrate the British establishment from within. When World War II erupted, Philby returned to London and offered his services to his country. His charm, education, and wartime credentials opened doors effortlessly. By 1940, he was working for MI6, Britain's foreign intelligence service, eventually rising to head of anti-Soviet operations. The irony was chilling. The man responsible for hunting Soviet spies was himself a Soviet spy. He passed hundreds of classified reports to Moscow, including the names of dozens of Western agents operating in Eastern Europe. Many of those agents were captured as a direct result of Philby's betrayal. To his colleagues, he was the model officer. To the Soviets, he was Agent Stanley. In 1949, Philby was posted to Washington, D.C. as Britain's liaison to the newly formed CIA. He drank with senior officers, attended secret briefings, and earned the trust of men who would later call him friend. But every night, he transmitted their secrets to Moscow. He learned America's surveillance plans, NATO strategies, and early Cold War operations, and fed them all to his handlers. For years, the deception held. But by the early 1950s, cracks began to appear. Two of his old Cambridge comrades, Burgess and Maclean, were suddenly exposed as Soviet agents. Philby, their close friend and former roommate, came under suspicion. In 1951, Burgess and Maclean fled to Moscow. Philby's name appeared in newspapers across Britain. He was questioned, investigated, even dismissed from MI6, yet remarkably never charged. Without evidence, the British government cleared him in 1955. At a press conference, Philby appeared calm, even amused, declaring, "I have never been a communist." The room erupted in applause. The gentleman spy had fooled them all, again. After years in exile, Philby was quietly rehired by British intelligence, this time as a journalist cover in Beirut, Lebanon. It was the perfect hiding place, a crossroads of Cold War intrigue, filled with diplomats, oilmen, and spies. By day, he filed reports for The Observer and The Economist. By night, he passed secrets again to Moscow. But by the early 1960s, the game was nearly over. New evidence linked him to the Cambridge spy ring. His old friend Nicholas Elliott, an MI6 officer, was sent to confront him. In January 1963, Elliott arrived in Beirut and met Philby at his apartment. The air was thick with silence. Elliott spoke first. "They know, Kim. It's over. Philby poured 2 drinks, his hand steady. He said nothing. Then he smiled faintly. I suppose they always would, eventually. 2 weeks later, he vanished. On a cold January night, Philby boarded a Soviet freighter docked in Beirut. Under the cover of darkness, he disappeared, leaving behind his wife, his friends, and his entire British life. When the ship reached Odessa, Soviet officials were waiting. The prodigal spy had come home. In Moscow, he was given a modest apartment, a pension, and the title Colonel in the KGB. But he missed London's fog, the easy laughter of his old circles. To the Soviets, he was a hero. To the British, he was a ghost. A reminder that even the best can betray. Kim Philby lived in Moscow for 25 years, giving lectures to KGB trainees on the art of deception. He married again, twice. He died in 1988, buried with full Soviet honors beneath a red flag. Philby never returned to the country he betrayed. But his betrayal changed intelligence forever. He proved that loyalty can wear any face, that the enemy can speak with your accent, drink at your table, and shake your hand. And when the truth finally surfaces, it's already far too late. Our channel is new and growing. Please subscribe to support us. And if you haven't, watch our video on The Boy Who Hacked Apple.